Hi everyone, and welcome back to A Jolly Good Life. Today we're going to be making customized Mickey banners. So, with a few items and a little patience, I'm going to show you guys how you can make one of these of your own. They could be good for baby showers, birthdays, just a welcome home, whatever you want to use it for. Alright, so let's get going. See what are the materials that we're going to need. Alright, so the required items are going to be, you're going to need some heavyweight cardstock. This is 65 pound, and I got this at Michael's in the scrapbooking area. You're going to need something to make your template for your ears with. So this just actually came off of the back cover of a pack of scrapbooking paper, or you can use an old cardboard box. You can use anything that you think would be good for a template. You're going to need something to make your template with your ears. This is just a 20-ounce cup, any 20-ounce cup. It is about 3.5 inches across widthwise. So if you want to just measure any cup you might have out there in your kitchen. You're going to need some ribbon, any ribbon of your choice. This is the one I chose. It's just some cheap ribbon. It's 3 yards. I bought it at Walmart. I think this was like the 98-cent ribbon. And you're going to need something sharp. So I have this blade, I have extra razor here, I have this razor, which is a replacement razor, but you can use that. You're going to need a pencil. Alright, the extra things that you might need: a glue gun for embellishments. You might want to use some rhinestones, any color of your choice. I'm going to be using the clear or the white, just so that you guys could see what that looks like. This is another option you'll see in a second. You might want to use some beads. I got this once again at Walmart. You can use pre-made bows, or if you choose, you can make your bows. And last but not least, you will need some numbers. So these are just some sparkly numbers. These are, I thought it would say it on here, but it doesn't. They're probably 2.5-inch numbers, a little bit less than that. But you can gauge it once you make your ears, the size of letters that you would like. Oh, and scissors. Don't forget your scissors. You got to cut your template out with something, and then you're going to have to cut out the Mickey ears with your scissors. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do, this one is a wider cup. This is actually the one I used. This is 4 inches across. It's one of my Yetis, or the generic Yetis that I bought. So you're just going to trace around it. I'll put it right here so you guys can see. So the size, you don't want it to be too small, obviously, because then you have to size the numbers that go in the center. So there's my circle. I'm going to now flip the cup, and now I'm using the smaller side of the cup at the bottom to kind of gauge where I want the ears. Now don't forget, this is just for the template so that we can make all the ears the same size. You can redo it as many times as you'd like. This looks pretty good to me. So now I will cut this out. This will be my template. So let's do that now, and I will fast forward while I cut. right, there you have it. Now make sure you take your time when you're cutting it out, because this is going to be your template for the rest of the Mickey ears, so they're all uniformed. Okay, so now what we're going to want to do, we're going to take this, I'm going to open this pack up, and I'll show you how I just place it on top and trace it. Alright, so you can use whatever you want, of course, to trace this. I found that using a pencil will reflect the light, so I can see it better. So whatever works better for you in order to, and of course I'm going to put it right to the corner so I get as much use out of this paper as I can. So I'm just going to go ahead and trace it with my pencil. And I don't know if you guys can make it out or not, but you can see the pencil lines holding it a certain way. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out, and then we're going to keep going. Alright, and it's just that simple. I will say that I think that the time I made these, I used even a thicker cardstock. So if you could find something heavier than a 65 pound, I would actually get that. Get something that's heavier than 65 pound. Because this one I believe was heavier. I made this a while ago, and now that I'm feeling it, yep, this one is a heavier cardstock than this one. But we can go with this one, because it's only going to be for a birthday party or a baby shower perhaps. I would use the back side, because if you didn't cut it perfectly, you can kind of see the pencil marks. And a little corner here. Alright, so if you're going to do a boy's or just a Mickey birthday, you could leave it as is and just put your letter on there. Try to center it as best you can. There you go. Now I'm going to continue as if this were a Minnie ear for a Minnie Mouse occasion. Alright, so there are many different ways you can do this. You can simply hot glue some of these beads around. These little pearls. And you just have to go, you don't rush it at all. Just place the beads where you want to start it. You don't need much glue at all. Get as close to the edge as you can and start placing the beads. You do have to work quickly, so I would suggest that you do not use a lot of glue. Just do small sections at a time until you get completely around. and go all the way around the ear. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll fast forward. I didn't go quite fast enough, so this glue has dried. So I'm just going to put a little bit more on top. And you could just try to take the little glue strings off. Just rub them back and forth, they'll come right off. Okay, so there's that. Now, like I said, you can use pre-made bows if you'd like. You can find these at Michael's, you can find them at Walmart. What you would do is just simply put the little bow on there, put a little bit of hot glue, stick the bow, you're done. Another thing you can do, another idea, is maybe you don't want the bow. So instead of cutting it here, you would continue the beads here. And stick them on there. You can also get these little rhinestones and glue them on here. So you have a Mickey within a Mickey. I've made these all different kinds of ways. When I made these, I actually made these for someone on Etsy and I sold them. It was a banner, it was for a baby shower, and they really liked it. I actually made these and that was very easy. I did forget about the little ribbon here. It's just curling ribbon, but I'll show you how I made that bow. I couldn't find, that was, I believe, last year I made those, and I can't find that red and white polka dot ribbon anywhere. But this is just a 7/8 of an inch ribbon. I figure Minnie has pink polka dots too sometimes. Pink with white polka dots. So I got just a little piece of curling ribbon. You could buy this ribbon. They have it at the Dollar Tree. You can buy that ribbon lots of places. So all I did was fold my bow in half. I kind of measured it and see how big or how small you want it. So I think I want it that big. So let's see. It's about 2 inches wide. I went all the way 2 inches. I doubled it up and then I went back on it. I should have my fabric tape scissors here. So total length, and of course everybody has their own way of making bows. I have my little measure here. About 7 inches. If you have an easier way to make bows, then by all means, I would use that method. I just folded it up on each other, on itself. This is the tricky part. You gotta crunch it in. However you seem fit. Then you have to just tie it really tight. I'll try to get it as much as I can, guys, but it's hard to do this and make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. With my hands not being in the way. Make sure it's in the middle. And simply pull it. You have to kind of mess with it a little bit. There's my bow. Simply by adding this ribbon. Now I just snip the ends. I will say be very careful if you're using a high temp glue gun, that it will melt this curling ribbon. So I use a very small amount just to hold it in place. But be very careful. If you put a lot of that glue, it's happened to me before, it will melt the curling ribbon. Then all you do is put a little bit of glue on your ears, and there you have it. Okay, now we're almost at the final step here. This is why you need the razor, or if you have a X-Acto knife, that would work perfectly. You want to make slits in the ears. So I am going to make a small slit here and a small slit about even here. I'm just eyeballing it, I'm not measuring. And what that is going to be used for is you're going to feed your ribbon through the ear holes, through the slits. Before we do that, I'm going to show you another letter. You might want larger letters, you might want smaller letters, depending on the size of the Mickey face that you made. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to feed the ribbon through. So I found it's better if you start at the top of the ear and go down through the little hole, through the slit. And then come up this side. All I'm doing is putting a little pressure on the slit and trying to slide the ribbon through as best I can. There you go. And you just continue. And that is what's going to hold your letters, your banner together. So when I made this for Etsy and I sold it to somebody, what I actually did was, it was a baby shower. So it said, congratulations. Obviously my ribbon is not going to be long enough, so I made 3 of them. I put congratulations on one strand, and on either side of the word I just put a blank head. So of course they were all red and white, the ones I made. So I would put, let's say you want to say happy birthday, and you're able to fit it on one ribbon. So you would put happy and then a blank one and then continue with birthday. Or you could just do 2. happy on one strand and birthday on another strand. Then you could do whatever you want. You could put a blank one on either side of the word, or just leave it as is and just put the whole entire word, and that's it. So I'm going to show you how I would string this one to this one, although it doesn't match. See, looks like it didn't take here very good. So all I got to do is go back and put a little bit of hot glue on that. No big deal. Sometimes if you put the glue too thin, if you don't put enough glue, then it'll dry up real fast. It'll cool down real fast, and then your beads won't stick. Which is no big deal because you're making it yourself, so you can always go back and fix little things like that. There you go, it's all fixed. So, like I was saying, then all you gotta do is get your ribbon. Let's do the red one. I go from the top to the bottom. Now the reason I do this is that the majority of the ribbon, once you do this, will be behind the ear. If you start from the top, as you can see, if you were to start it from the bottom up, I'll show you what that would look like. You might like that look. You might like this look better, but then it's coming across the top in the front. I don't like that look, so I think it's better to go from the top of one There you go. So then you just string them along like this. Let's see. Here's just the plain Mickey one. I'll just put it here. I gotta make my There you go. Don't forget you can use rhinestones to embellish it. The little rhinestones, just use the different sizes. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to do the pearls. Maybe you just want to do plain Mickey ears. Your imagination is your limit. That is it. Alright guys, thank you for joining me, but before we go, some of you may be asking, well, how do I hang it on the wall? Or maybe if you're at a park. Since it is ribbon, if you have somewhere to tie it down to, like if you're at a park, maybe there's something that you can hang it on. What I did was, when I used mine, I just put thumbtacks through the ribbon and into the wall. If you don't want to make holes in your wall, which some people might not want to, you could probably just use some tape. Might have to use a few pieces of tape depending on how big your banner is, because it can have quite a little bit of weight to it, but it's not too bad. So those are several ways you could do it. Thumbtack, I would think, is the sturdiest way, unless you have somewhere to tie off your ribbon in the area of the house or park or wherever you're going to do it. So thanks again for joining me. I hope you guys found this helpful and useful, and I hope you guys make lots of Mickey banners. Like I said, I made these for someone on Etsy. She really liked it, so I figured I'd share it with you on how to make your own. Alright guys, I hope I see you next time. Don't forget, if you haven't done so already, to share, like, and subscribe. Thanks again, guys. See you next time. Bye.